Hey guys and girls, do you know one of the very best places to look to find spawning crappie? Good morning guys and girls. It is April 12th. April 12th, spring is here. It's just absolutely a fantastic time of the year. The crappie are biting all over the South. They're hitting the banks, and I'm going to tell you here in just a little bit one of the best places to go find them. But let's look at our scripture for the day and see what we've got. In Proverbs, imagine that. Proverbs 15:3. Yeah, really for Proverbs, this is kind of a long verse here. Proverbs 15:3. But it's a good one. The Lord's eyes see everything. The Lord's eyes see everything. He watches both evil and good people. That means He's watching us all. He watches both evil and good people. My devotional says underwater cameras are all the rage right now in fishing. They work incredibly well, and they're relatively inexpensive. I own a couple of these cameras myself, and I've seen some really neat stuff when the water's fairly clear. That's the catch. You need clear water. Lights help, but clear water is the deal. The water's murky, dingy, muddy. A lot of times the cameras won't do you much good at all. Our electronics, however, they can see through that muddy water. They can show us images even in the muddy water. So that's a little bit better situation there. But anyway, the clear water is really critical for this using cameras underwater. We got all kinds of them nowadays, all kinds of them. We put them on poles, put them on sticks. We actually got cameras we could put on our fishing line. That's right, cameras we could put on our fishing line and cast out there and wind back in and watch and see what's going on. How would you like to be able to really, really see everything underwater? Not on electronics, not on a camera that you can see pretty good or you can see a short distance, but to see really, really everything underwater. Guess what? God can. He can see everything, and He's watching both you and me right now. How would we conduct ourselves if we remembered that God is sitting right beside us at work, in our car, while we wait in line at Bass Pro Shop or the airport or one of those takeouts, which is about what we got around mostly nowadays, is takeouts? I believe we'd be a little bit nicer. We'd be a little friendlier. We'd be a little happier. And most of all, we'd be more loving to one another if we knew that God's right here. Well, He is here. He is here. So let's live like it. Let's live like He's right here, because by golly, He is. The Lord sees everything. His eyes are on everything. His eyes are on everyone. He watches both evil and good people. Here's our tip for the day. Search out pea gravel banks for spawning crappie. That's right, just that simple. Pea gravel banks. Pea gravel banks, and we have them in a lot of the lakes in the South, particularly a lot of the man-made lakes that are built in the mountainous areas, like right here around southern Oklahoma, where I live, over on Lake Tenkiller. That's another lake that's got a lot of pea gravel banks. A lot of the man-made lakes that are built around the hills and the mountains, a lot of those have a lot of pea gravel bank. Pea gravel is the little gravel. It's like pea size. It's all different sizes, but small gravel. Search out that gravel. It's the kind of gravel you want to put in your garden or on your driveway. Pea gravel banks. Those are the hard type banks that crappie really love to spawn on. And let me tell you something else about crappie spawning. If you're catching the male crappie, which you can tell the male crappie from the female, because when they spawn they turn a really dark color. If they're black crappie, they just turn almost black. I mean, they just black all over them. And but even a white crappie will turn almost black, or turn really, really black when he spawns. So those will be the darker color crappie. Plus with crappie, the crappie produce lots of more crappie. So the female crappie there will have a good belly on them. They'll be bulging with eggs, whereas the male crappie will be a slender fish. And if you're crappie fishing in the springtime, when you can really catch a lot of crappie, we keep only the males. For all of our life, we've pretty much up until the last 15 or 20 years or so, we just keep whatever we caught, and we clean them and we eat them, and we love that. But mostly now we keep the male crappie and let the female crappie spawn. That way we know we've got lots and lots and lots and lots of crappie. Oklahoma is one of the greatest crappie states in the nation. We have lakes that are incredible. We've got lakes that have crappie limits of 37 crappie per person. 37 crappie per person. That means if you got 2 people in a boat, you can have 74 crappie. You can have 74 crappie if you have 2 people fishing. If you have 3 people fishing, all right, real quick now, 111. Would that be right? Would that be right? 37 and 74, 111. I think that would be right. But that's a lot of crappie. That's a lot of crappie. That's 222 fillets. And so it's a lot. But the pea gravel banks are where to look for. And the little tip I was going to give you, if you're catching those males up shallow, you're fishing up and you're catching them, just your jig or your road runners only falling, a couple, 2 or 3 feet, and you get a bite. The big female crappie, the larger crappie, are right out in front of them, usually in about, get this, 6 or 8 foot of water. The same place that the bass are out in front of the male, out in front of the males. The bass are about 4 to 8 foot of water usually when the female's on a bed. Now, it varies depending on whether the water's muddy or clear. But in most of the lakes we have, those crappie are out there in about 8, 10, 12 foot of water right out in front of where you're catching those males. So guys and girls, have you a great time out there crappie fishing. I know a lot of you are doing it. We are catching crappie right now, and it's absolutely fantastic. Hey, guys and girls, have a great day out there today. Catch crappie, go fishing. I love you.